Hello friends, it's Alina. And in this video, we'll be diving into the 5 things you need to know about this November 2021 new supermoon in the watery sign of Scorpio. We'll dive into what exactly a supermoon is, why this new moon in particular is an excellent time for fresh starts, intention setting, and shaking up any stagnant energy you might be experiencing. And we'll also cover the transit surrounding this new moon as always. And at the end, I'll offer some custom writing prompts so we can journal and reflect together in alignment with this energy. And quickly, in case you missed it, the 2022 Auraline Astrology Planners are available for pre-order. Now, these are my creation and they are a metaphysical tool for all of 2022, packed with the year's top astrological transits, full and new moon dedicated ritual pages, seasonal wellness guides, and so much more. So if that interests you, check out the link in the description or on the screen. And with that said, let's dive in. Why is this new moon so important? As previously mentioned, this is a supermoon, which is a name given to the moon when it is particularly close to the Earth. And with this closer proximity, many believe that the energy and influences of the new moon can have a larger effect in our lives. As well, all new moons signify the beginning of a new lunar cycle. They are energetically seen as a time of rest, reflection, and taking time to set intentions for the new lunar cycle ahead. This is why you see many people doing new moon rituals, where they take time to reflect on the previous cycle and set intentions for what is ahead. New moons are a cosmic reminder that we too can start fresh, just like we see in the cosmos. And with this new moon being in the Scorpion water sign of Scorpio, we are definitely being encouraged to step outside of our comfort zone as we enter this new phase in our lives and be open to potential changes and approaches for how we live, heal, and transform. As well, with the moon being known to rule over our emotions, affecting the tides and water, as well as Scorpio being a water sign, we'll definitely see some impact when it comes to our mood and energy levels. Holding space for our emotions and shadow selves during this time will be incredibly important. Scorpio new moons represent transformation and can even be a catalyst in your life if you find yourself in a stagnant phase or looking to start a new chapter. If you feel like you might be in an in-between stage or looking for clarity for next steps to move out of any stagnation or slowing on your path, utilizing this new moon can be such a great move for gaining clarity and motivation to take your next steps. But we'll dive deeper into that in a second. Next, what transits impact this new moon? First, this new moon tightly opposes Uranus, the planet of awakening, revelations, and originality. As many of you know, oppositions between two astral bodies signify a divide or imbalance between those two different energies. So this transit is definitely encouraging us to stay open to new approaches in the way that we live life and problem solve. This transit can also bring sudden changes and surprising new inspirations for changing up how we approach our day-to-day. The moon opposing Uranus transit can also cause emotional upset and potential upheaval, whether it has to do with our internal worlds, our self-talk, or with interpersonal or professional public relationships. Embracing change and being open to communication will be what will be very vital during this time. The key here is really how we react to the world around us during this time. Impulsive reactions can potentially turn what was a small issue into a bigger, more chaotic situation. So being cognizant of how we hold space for our emotions and others will be very important during this time. Next, we have Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect, sextiling with Venus, the planet of love and relationships. A sextile aspect in astrology can offer ease and harmony between the two astral bodies involved. So this will definitely be bringing supportive encouragement, harmony, and stress reduction when it comes to our interpersonal and professional relationships during this time. This transit will be offering us a more settled frame of mind and an ability to tap into our communication skills, which will definitely be helping us with this Moon-Uranus transit as well as the Scorpio season. Speaking of which, we have Scorpio season well underway with it beginning on October 23rd and wrapping up November 21st. When we see the sun fixed in this water sign, it definitely signifies a time for exploring our shadow selves, our darker energy, and there's an emphasis on uncovering hidden truths and sustaining emotional connections. So when it comes to loyalty, honesty, relationships, and seeking truth within them, Scorpio season will be a season of strengthening those aspects. Next, how should we expect to feel? With the new moon being in Scorpio, on a more grand scale, looking at things from a more larger community perspective, we should definitely expect to see themes involving seeking independence versus control or over-reliance. This can definitely be something we might see politically when it comes to our more immediate communities, family-wise, or even interpersonally when it comes to relationships or even jobs. This can potentially motivate us to update how we approach our lives. This can look like getting great or intense news or learning new things about ourselves. Ways to align with this new moon energy. First things first, embrace rest and silence. It is usually in the stillness and quiet without the stimulation of maybe electronics or socializing or being out and about that our intuition and deeper callings, our subconscious, can speak through. It can be a time when our minds are able to connect the dots from previous experiences and fully process them. And it can also be a time for gaining clarity for next steps. And just as we see with the full moon being in its peak brightness and energy, signifying a moment of being out and about and having higher energy, on the opposite end of that, with the new moon, it can be a time of rest, reflection, and really leaning into the power within that. Now can be a great time for leaning into self-care in whatever unique way that looks like for you. It can also be a great time for reflecting on the power of rest and how it allows us to sustain any type of work that we do long term. Next, getting clear on any intentions that you have during this new lunar cycle can be so optimal. This specific new moon in Scorpio is an excellent time for kickstarting things, shaking up anything that might be stagnant, and being open to new perspectives of how to approach things. In fact, if you have an Auraline astrology planner, in the dedicated new moon section, there are charts for breaking down your intentions into actionable steps, so you can get clear on exactly what to do in manageable ways. And finally, let's get into these new moon journal prompts. If you have your Auraline astrology planner, I invite you to turn to the dedicated new moon ritual page where you can journal all of this, but if you don't have it, you don't need it. All you'll need will be a pen and paper. What I'll do is I'll put up the writing prompts on the screen. When you see them, I invite you to pause, write them out, unpause, and when we're done, I'll come back. Moving into this new lunar cycle, do you have any new intentions or goals? What helps you stay grounded during periods of change? How would you define this phase of your life? What is a challenge from the previous lunar cycle that you've learned from? What are you most proud of from the previous month? All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed those writing prompts. And if you did, maybe comment below what might have come up for you. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the prompts so we can kind of catch up and to maybe spark some conversation. A challenge that I experienced during the previous lunar cycle, and I feel like this all centers around the launch, but it was a very big deal. You know, I spent a majority of this year working towards that smooth sort of launch of it and everything, and also trying to find balance in between that. But something I'm most proud of is breaking down all of the tasks that I had to do into actionable steps. Because looking back, even like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would not have imagined, you know, that I would be able to do so much. And I think it's because I would often get very intimidated by all of the work ahead. And it was through doing something like launching a product line that I really experienced the value of delayed gratification and the value of giving myself the time. I decided like the beginning of summer that I wanted to slowly start working towards this launch, towards this design, this new line. And by starting so early, I was able to make a lot of the work more sustainable. And it was only this last month, right before launch, which is relatively normal, that I experienced a heavier workload to make sure that everything went smoothly. But that's something I'm proud of, is that I was able to do it and that I was able to break down my bigger goals into actionable steps to lead to where I am right now. And so I bring that up because, I don't know, I just hope that if any of y'all are like me or have experienced something like that, or have felt intimidated, or maybe procrastinated on, or maybe even avoided things that are like our big dreams because we were like, I don't even know where to begin. I just want to tell y'all, you can start, you can do it. And you can do it in your own way, in your own route, and in your own timeline. Something else that I wanted to mention, just like almost like a tip, is it's important to remember to reach out to people, to ask for help, and to remember that the worst thing they can say is no. Like, I had some big questions and challenges that I waited on for months because I was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a lot. And then it wasn't until like last week that I thought, let me message some people on Instagram. Like, let me message some of my friends and see how they approached it. And stepping outside of my comfort zone and asking for help actually almost immediately solved the problem. Everyone's problems are different, but if that resonates with you, this is the universe reminding you the power of reaching out, and that literally the worst thing people can say is no, All right, y'all, if you made it to the end of this video, I invite you to comment 3 scorpion emojis to let me know. Because when you engage with my work and anybody's work here on YouTube, you are telling the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy content like this, and it really helps to support small but growing creators like myself to continue to grow. Also, if you enjoy aligning your schedule or life with the moon phases and seasons like I do, definitely check out the 2022 R-Line Astrology Planners. They include dedicated full and new moon ritual pages, notifications for all of 2022's top astrological events and meteor showers, which is a new addition, and much more. Links will be in the description box below, or you can just follow the link on the screen. And with all of that said, I will leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey, not the destination. All right, peace. Bye.